Hi there, I'm Michelle.
I'm Jim, and we are
A Teague of Your Own. Welcome to another Motivational Monday.
Let's get motivated. Woo!
Woo! It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Better than yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday was all rain all day.
Oh my goodness, yes. Way too much rain.
Yes.
And today, there's a little bit of clouds out there, but at least it's not raining.
Right.
And I don't think we're supposed to get rain until Tuesday night, Wednesday.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Seems to be constant around here.
Yeah. Which means the grass is growing.
Oh man, is it ever?
Jim's favorite thing to do.
Yeah, cut the grass.
I think that ranks way up there with, doing stuff with leaves.
Yeah. No, the leaves are worse.
The leaves are worse. There you go.
But they're just once a year in the fall. Even though there's still some out there, they are hard to get rid of.
Well, some people have the philosophy, if you leave something alone long enough, it'll take care of itself.
With leaves, that's not the case.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm very sure. Just ask the neighbors next door who they left the leaves there all winter, and their mower guy is just coming and cutting the grass, and there's big patches where the grass is dead because the leaves sat there all winter and nobody bothered to get them up. So their choice. I got mine up.
Although
mostly
if the grass is dead, you don't have to cut it.
That's true, but it sure looks bad.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So we've got a quote for today.
Okay, what's the quote?
The quote is by H. Jackson Brown Jr., who's an author. Do you remember the book he wrote?
Didn't you say it was the Little Book of Life?
Life's Little Instruction Book.
Okay, something like that.
Yes, Life's Little Instruction Book. Okay, so the quote that we have today is the best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. Got it?
Yep.
All right. Best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. So what does that mean to you?
That means that you need to do everything that you can today. And by doing so, you will lay the groundwork for hopefully being even better tomorrow.
Okay.
Because doing your best today, you're putting out the maximum effort. Also, if you're doing what you should be doing, you're learning along the way. And that's part of the whole process of, when you're putting yourself out there, when you're doing things, when you're giving it all, as I did this weekend, all weekend. It was a long weekend. You are laying the groundwork for what's to come. And like I said, part of that process is learning. I definitely learned some things with the activities that I was involved in this weekend, things that will help me in the future.
Like what?
Well, I learned with the speech contest that it doesn't pay to get drawn first. And because I have definitely noticed a pattern with the speech contests is that the contestants who go last or near the end do seem to perform better and they place better. And I think it is also a case of perform better. When we had speech contests this weekend, I drew first out of 8. Now, the problem with that is you have to be so good. And I guess that's what I learned was I was not so good. I thought I did a good job. It's a speech that I had won with, first place at the previous rounds. But at the round that I was at this time, that's where it gets intense. That's when the competition really comes. Not that there's not competition at lower levels. I don't want anybody to hear that and think I'm belittling the other levels, but it's not the same. It's not the same. Once you get to the district level, it becomes intense. And that's because you're competing against the best of the best in 4 different, from 4 different divisions. And as the person going first, you have that opportunity to set the tone, but it's a case of, as like Mike said, you have to be so good that you just suck the oxygen out of the room. And I tried. I tried. You can ask her. I poured myself into that speech. And when I was done, I was exhausted. I was wiped out. My voice was shot for the rest of the day. And it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. And it was a case of, again, I've noticed this pattern. The person who went last won. And that's because they get the opportunity to make the last impression. And that's just the way it goes. Now, I've been the beneficiary of that on the other end.
Yeah.
So in the previous 2 rounds, I was last and I won. Fair is fair.
Yep.
Not much you can do about it. Also means, though, that you have to be prepared for, 1, the luck of the draw working against you. And 2, being ready to be a gracious and not being victorious, which, boy, is that hard. But I did it. It's, it's one of those things. You go out and you take your best shot. And, the reality is, would I be any better off if I hadn't have tried? Well, some people might say, well, you wouldn't have wasted your time. Okay, I got that. But I wouldn't have learned, I guess the speech that I prepared, it was different than anything I had done before. And I think one of the things that also may have happened was the audience was expecting one thing from me and they got something else. I think it would be like, going to a Bruce Springsteen concert, and instead of coming out and singing Bruce Springsteen songs, he decides to sing an entire show of Billy Joel songs. People are going to go, what the heck is this? And you don't like that analogy.
No, I'm trying to picture, and I'm trying to figure out what that check looks like. Because do you just turn all the money over to Billy Joel? In which case he's like, okay.
Yeah, all right. I'm not sure why I'm getting this, but okay. And I think that also may have been a bit of my downfall, that, amazingly enough, same speech worked at the 2 previous levels. And same thing, I think people were expecting something very different from me. And the way that I started the speech, it probably appeared it was going to go in that direction. And then I did this hard turn on it and took it someplace else. And I'm not sure that my audience was ready for that. My broader audience, I don't think they were ready for that. So that's what happens sometimes. You build up an expectation. When you, and usually my speeches are funny. Usually there's a lot of humor in them, a lot of people laughing, and that's what they expect. So, I guess it would be like, Ron White suddenly doing dramatic poetry readings. I don't think the audience would be real thrilled with that.
But you make a good point as far as the quote that we're talking about, and the best preparation for tomorrow is to do your best today. In the past, you laid the groundwork for, it's Jim. He's going to give a funny speech.
It's Jim. This is going to be screamingly hilarious. Yep.
And that's not what happened.
Nope.
And so there's a lot to be learned from this, because one of the points about this particular quote is what you've done in the past affects what happens to you in the future.
Right.
And everything that you've done in the past leads up to what you're doing now and what you're going to do in the future.
Right.
So you have to be very careful of your actions, and you need to make sure that what you're doing today is going to be a good reflection and truly prepare you for what it is that you want tomorrow. And that's one of the reasons why you need to take a good look at what you have done. What skills have you learned? What work have you put in? What is it that you've done in the past to prepare you for where it is that you want to go in the future? Because if you haven't put in the preparation, you're not going to get there. There's a cause and effect at play here. And what you've done before has a direct effect on what's going to happen in the future. And so if you aren't doing what it is that you need to do now for what you want to see in the future, then you need to make some changes.
Right. Yeah. Another example is yesterday was performing. I was on stage all weekend.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Or at least I feel like I was on stage all weekend. Yesterday, I was performing with the Westmoreland Choral Society. And we did our spring show. If you're not aware of the Westmoreland Choral Society, we're a group of people. We, all volunteer to do this. And
there's no cats and dogs in there?
Just no, people? No cats. No, it's all people.
Okay.
People, and then kids. Well, they're people too, I guess.
They are. Yes, children are people.
Yeah. But we don't rehearse with the kids until right at the end. We have this choir, and we perform. I joined. I say we. I just joined this year. They've been around for quite a while, mm-hmm. and it's all people who volunteer to participate in this. So they're self-selected. I don't know. I know when I showed up, they just asked me, what part do you sing? And I said I could do tenor or baritone, and I got put into the tenors. And for the Christmas show, I sang tenor. And even though I did it and I pulled it off, I thought it was going to rip my throat out. It was my range isn't as high as it used to be, and that comes with age. So that's something I learned. Mm-hmm. Move over with the baritones, the bass ones. And so I did that for the spring show, and that was far more comfortable. That was much better situation. Thing I learned from this process this year is something that I should have done years ago. I probably need to do now, and that is learn how to sight read for voice. I never did it. I never had to. What?
I think that's interesting because when you were in high school, you were in chorus.
Yes.
And they didn't teach you there.
Some people figured it out, and I think in my brain, it sort of associates it. Once I know what the piece is, mm-hmm. So if I hear it one time, I've got it. Mm-hmm. I can get it. And then my brain can associate the notes and the movements. But if you just stuck a piece of music in front of me and said, here, sing this, no clue. Mm-hmm. No clue. I wouldn't be able to, I could try to fish around and figure out, what's that first note? And
then go from
sort
there.
of figure out how it's moving.
Yeah.
But to be able to do what Tom Octave, the choral leader, does, where he probably knows all these songs from years and years, but he just knows the parts, looks at it, and starts singing. And he can sing all of the 4 different parts, mm-hmm. and he's got a great voice. And I think to enable my improvement with the choral group, which I fully intend to be in next year as well, and anybody else out there that sings or desires to sing, you can join us. We'll be starting back in the fall, and we rehearse at the First Lutheran Church. Is that in downtown Greensburg? Mm-hmm. You've got the Lutheran Church and the Presbyterian Church right there in downtown Greensburg, and we rehearse at the Lutheran and perform at the Presbyterian. I think that's right. Mm-hmm. Get my churches confused. And you're welcome to join. I just walked in, and like I said, they asked what part, and I said I could do this, I could do that, and they stuck me in the tenors, and it was fun, but it hurt. So I learned, don't sing with the tenors. Just can't do that anymore. I could if I would have to learn some vocal exercises, mm-hmm. to keep that from hurting again. But like I said, learning to at least get a fundamental feel for reading the music for voice would probably come in handy, because that is one of the things that when we got in there, I found out that they move fast. Mm-hmm. And it's because, we've only got 7 or 8 rehearsals before we perform. So, and we've got a lot of music to learn. And, so it moves quickly, and you have to figure it out. Now, the other thing that I did figure out that was really nice, though, is despite the fact that, my hearing is not what it used to be, I can listen to the people right around me because they're singing the same part. Mm-hmm. And I can very easily pick up everything listening. So I've got a better ear than an eye when it comes to the music. It's kind of like when I'm plunking things out on a bass or a guitar. Quite often I can pick things out and figure it out without having to go to any source to figure out what the music is. So it's a bit of ear playing. Now, I'm not one of these kinds of people that I can hear a tune one time and then pick up the instrument and play it. There's some people who can do that, but I can pick it out after a little while, and then I have it.
So to prepare for the future,
Mhm.
one of the things that you're going to do then is learn how to read the music now.
I'm going to attempt to, yes.
And that way, when you're handed that piece of music, you'll have a better idea of how to sing it and how to perform.
Yes, I figure even if I just go through the process, because there's lots of videos online that you can do this with, but go through the process and start to train my brain and my voice together, that by the time we start in the fall, I should be in much better shape. And it'll be hopefully an easier process. Now, that'll all depend on what Tom does, because the piece that they performed for the fall concert was a monster. It was an original piece with 10 movements, and it was crazy. And he even admitted after the show, he was really worried about things as they were progressing along, because, and I ended up not performing it because I missed too many rehearsals. And that piece was so complicated that all you had to do was miss one or two and you were lost. So, and there were several people like that. They just, they got lost and didn't do it. The Christmas show was fantastic. And part of that is because some of those songs, a lot of those songs already. Yeah. And so now the problem that I had, especially with like the Hallelujah chorus, is I had sung the baritone part for the years that I had to do that in school. And now all of a sudden I was singing tenor part. Guess what?
Different.
It's different. Yeah. So I had to learn this whole other part, but my voice my brain kept wanting to go back to the one that I knew. And so this year for the Christmas show, I'm assuming we'll do it again, and I'll be back to the familiar baritone portion of it. So, and then for the spring show, like I said, it was much better. I had a better feel for what was going on, for the flow of the group, how they operated, how Tom operated. Just felt a lot more comfortable with it. And that was despite, some distress. I was really concerned because my voice was, I kind of shot it the day before with the speech contest and having to talk to so many people. And thanks to was it the throat lozenges, Hall's throat lozenges, a little plug for them. I was able to get through it, and I think I sounded okay. I don't know when you're in a course, tell, but it felt okay. So
that's all that matters. All right. So when it comes to preparing for tomorrow, when it comes to figuring out the gap that you have, because one of the things that I've done as an instructional designer and as a trainer is you have to do a gap analysis. You need to figure out where people are and where they want to be. And you've got this gap in between those two. And then the training that you do takes you and fills in that gap so you get to where it is that you want to be. It's the same with when you're looking at where you are now. The preparation that's led you up to where you are now may or may not help you get to where it is you want to be in the future.
Sure.
So if people have a goal in mind or they have a vision for where it is that they want to be in the future, and they're looking at where they are now, and they can look in the past and they can see what skills they've learned, what experiences they've had, and then they can kind of get a feeling for where they are now. What could they do if they need help in developing new skill sets or developing and coming up with a plan and a strategy for getting to that vision or achieving that goal that they have? What could they do?
Let me see if I can figure out where you're going with this question. I think, they could contact us.
They could contact us.
That'd be us. Okay.
Okay. So if they wanted to contact us to help them be better prepared for that future, or to help them assess where they are and how to move forward, how could they reach out to us?
There are a multitude of ways that they can reach out to us.
There are.
They can call us.
Yes.
Waiting to see what you put up there. Phone number 412-420-7975. Yes, we realize that is a Pittsburgh number. We live near Pittsburgh. So, but we can work with people from anywhere.
We can.
You can send us a text message, or you can call us and we will actually pick up the phone and talk to you. I know, what a strange concept.
People still do that.
I know, I
Wow.
know. Especially folks like us. I love talking on the phone. Get more information a whole lot faster. You can text us. We will respond to your texts as well. So we do that also. You can send us an email, info@ateagueofyourown.com. You can go to our website, which is ateagueofyourown.com. See how we did that? We made that easy. We also are on social media.
Yes.
We're on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn, and we are on Instagram. And we got a YouTube channel too.
Amazing. Yes, we do.
Yes, we have a YouTube channel.
So make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way
we can put more content in there. So
you can see all these.
We got some ideas for some other content. That was one of the other things I learned about with the contest this week, is that the speech that I gave, I would want to modify it. I would have to, but I think the message that's in it is so powerful, which is why I was surprised when I didn't win. That, excuse me, still dealing with the throat issues, that I will be able to turn that into a keynote. And I think it's going to be especially relevant for, people who have been told things their entire lives to discourage them, that designed to beat them down, and finding ways to overcome that, because you can't let that keep you down, which happens to some people. I think for like at-risk youth, maybe even for speaking to people who are already like in the prison system, having issues, people who are locked into other systems, especially with like some of the government stuff, where you just get locked into this cycle of poverty and you can't get out of it. I think it's a good message on how you can overcome what people have planted in your mind, because what they plant in your mind doesn't have to be what stays in your mind.
It's true. Yeah, you can reprogram.
You can reprogram.
Maybe what we need to do for the next several weeks is talk about some of the topics that we talk about.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Sure.
Okay. That's what we'll do.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, now they'll know.
Now they'll know. That way they'll know. This is what we talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool beans. All right, everybody. So feel free to reach out to us. Either go to the website, give us a call, send us a text, send us an email, reach out to us here on social media. We look forward to hearing from you and telling you about the topics that we talk about.
Yeah.
So we will see you next week, everyone.
Bye.